Good morning, mob family. All right, we're trying this on the phone, so it's going to be a little bit different, I think. Let me see if I can get FB up on my screen here. Hello, Dolly. So let's see, where are we? Yeah. Hola, Malcolm. How are you? Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm waving back to Dolly. Good morning, Linda. How are you? Hello, Dolly. How are you? Hope everyone is well today. It's Friday, episode 23. Hopefully you don't have any glitches. It's 23 or 24. I'll find out when I upload this. And guys, let me know if there's any glitching. Facebook is trying to move into this thing called Live Producer, which is a little complicated. So we'll see. Hello, Christiana. Good morning. So first things first, you know, we have a YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. A shout out to my tribe, to everyone in the family. And, you know, they won't see this for a while, so it'll be interesting to see the reactions later on. And to my sister, and in this case, Dolly, who's right now not here next to me. She's out. Oi, Mark, how are ya? That reminds me of Idris Elba. He likes to say oi. So Dolly, who's currently out, but she's with us remotely. Hello, Dolly. And hey, TJ, how are you? So as you know, guys, Blood Betrayal is out live, but just for the mob right now, it's at 99 cents. It's going to go up later on today. So please get your copy now at 99 cents. I know a lot of you in KU, but just get your copy now. Hello, Mark. Oh, but you guys are all waving. Hey, guys. I wonder if I can scroll down on this. Let's see. This is very new for me on the phone. Oh, yeah, I can scroll up and down. Awesome. So let me put a note up. Hello, Diane. Let people know. I mean, is it showing up on the Facebook page? I think it probably is. Let's see. Yeah, there I go. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're here for an hour, and if you have any questions, please ask them. So, yes, thank you, TJ, for getting it. Hello, Audrey. Good morning. Hello, Corinne. Good morning. Good morning. Hi. Welcome to our mobile version, which I kind of like the mobile idea. Awesome, Linda. Linda says she's got her copy already. I like the mobile idea because this allows me to get away from the computer at some point and just kind of roam with you guys. So once we can be outside a little bit more freely, we can do some of these things at remote locations, which is great. So, yeah. So I'm glad you guys are picking up your copies of Blood Betrayal. Hey, Laura. Good morning. Let's see. Dragon's Impasse is currently in Team As, the Advanced Story Squad. I believe that's what it's for. And then it's going to go to Team Dam. So John is handling that. He's adding a lot to it because it's supposed to be a pentology, but my schedule is so slammed that I couldn't do more than 3 books. So John and I agreed that I would do the 3 books, and then he's going to really add more to the 3rd book so it can transition easier, because he's going to write book 4 and book 5. So it'll be an easier transition, and his voice will be more prominent, so you can make an easy transition to book 4 and an easy transition to book 5. So that's what's happening with Dragon's Impasse. So he's adding a lot to Dragon's Impasse. I think last time he said he just added 10,000 words. It was already 50-something thousand, so now it's like 60,000. Hey, yeah, Mark, that's awesome. See, I'm on your phone, and you can comment here. Look at that. That's great. So I'm going to be with you guys everywhere you go. I will be watching. Take me everywhere, even on your phone. Laura's watching. Hi, Laura. So if you guys have any questions, save them for the 10 minutes after, and then I'll answer some of the questions. I know we have some, but I'll answer some of them. Let's see. Mark says, so any bits we don't like regarding to referring to Dragon's Impasse, we can blame John, right? Yeah, definitely. If there's anything about Dragon's Impasse, you go, oh my God, that John wrote it. There you go. And you can tell him I said so. Yeah. Hey, Chris. Yeah, I'm going to see, there's an option on this version to... I don't like the fact that it's so narrow, but we'll live with it. To upload it in HD, so I'm gonna try that after. When you upload it, you can upload it in HD. So hopefully, it looks great right now. It looked a little fuzzy when I did the test. So now I have my coffee, Mark. Look, I'll show you. Coffee. It's just that I drink a lot of water, because it's important to stay hydrated. And so I drink the coffee, but my coffee now, my new coffee habit is that I take 1 cup like this and it lasts 2 days. So that's a pretty big difference. So I'll have a full cup of this, a full mug, but it'll last me 2 days. Thank you, Linda. Great. I'm glad to hear. Thank you for the feedback. No, this is yesterday's cup, Dolly. I didn't make any more today. This is the one that you made for me yesterday. I tell you, make it last 2 days. That's the whole thing. So, Dark Glass, which is the next Monty and Strong book, has begun, and I should have it soon. Like, I don't know, about a month or so, maybe less, depending on how much I push on it. I don't want to overdo it. But I'm pushing hard on it, so I want to get it done because I want to get to Blood Rule, which is the 3rd book. So, hey Chris, good morning. Thank you, TJ. I'm glad I was looking a little drawn before. So, the beard is growing back in, so the scruff, my face is not as itchy as it was, but yeah, it's itchy. It's that moment, it's that phase where it's like, so I try to not deal with it too much. I like Dolly's answer. To Mark, she's working on the list and you'll get it soon. GM. Hello, Diana. Welcome. Yes, part 3 is good. I already have part 3 kind of outlined, but I really want to get Monty and Strong 11 done because it has been a while. And so I know you guys are waiting off the cliffhanger because part 2 is a cliffhanger. Sorry, no murderizing the author. Part 2 is a cliffhanger, but the only reason you have to wait is because you're going to get another Monty and Strong. So it's worthwhile, trust me. This Monty and Strong is starting out a lot of fun. And they make a trip somewhere you're going to recognize if you read some of the other books that I've written. So that's going to be fun. It's a little crossover. They have a little crossover moment that leads into another crossover moment later on with another character. So you'll have fun. They're kind of moving within universes, which goes back to that little shift they had back, a little step to the right, step to the left, jump to the right, that whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, Mark, I have to write them all. Hello, Rhiannon, welcome. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Well, it goes, let's see, I'm currently up to Monty and Strong, because Mark is saying he wants 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have covers for up to Monty and Strong 18, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And outline I have up to 21. So it's a lot. Yes. So, Chris, there's going to be some crossover with a character that everybody's been wanting me to finish. So I'm going to let it happen in the book and you guys can be all surprised. Mark Rollinson, welcome. Good morning. Waving back. So that's what's been going on. And I'm pushing hard on Dark Glass because I want to get it done too because I'm having a lot of fun with it. By far, Monty and Strong is the easiest story for me to write, which is why I know that even though I have a compressed amount of time to write the story comes out so seamlessly and so easy for me that I can do it within that time. It's just those characters. Well, you're welcome, Mark. Welcome and good morning. Yes. So Monty and Strong seem to be, for me, the easiest stories to write. They just flow. Okay. Don't. I want to make sure everybody knows I have my Peaches. He's always in the background, so you know. So he's still here. It's just that because the camera is so small, or because of yeah. Well, I'm gonna try something, guys. Hold on. Let's see what happens. Oh no, I'm short. No, you can't turn the phone while you're live. Wow. Yes, the girls are talking in the back. Even though I told the girls to be quiet because I'm on a call. Hello, Julie. Welcome. Good morning. I'm waving to Julie. Hey, Julie. Thank you for coming. Thanks for being here with us. So yes, I'm trying to get a way to get more of these. Some of the ads that I have, that's a big demand that people want. Peaches plushies. The thing is, and Dolly's still working on it. It's just that it's one, because of the pandemic, things have been thrown out of whack. Two, it's because we want to make it so the price is low. Because if you were to get a Peaches now, they're handmade. They cost like $40, $45 each. No plushie should be that much, even a Peaches plushie. So I mean, that's like a collectible. And this is it's really well made. I'm not taking anything away from it, but it's a lot for a plushie. I don't know. I'm not a plushie collector, but I can't see spending that much regularly. I can see it for like a special thing, but I don't know. We'll see. Trying to get the price down. See how I can ring you guys. I kind of moved the phone. We can get the price down to be a little bit more affordable. We'll see. Hi, Kathy. Yes, the next, I'm having so much fun writing the next Monty and Strong book. So that is going to be a lot of fun. I'll say good morning to the girls, Julie. Yeah, they're in the back. They're having e-school. I have their schedules on my phone, which is currently being used to do this, but they're in the middle of classes. So yes, Malcolm, that is the only reason. Yes, of course. Malcolm said that the only reason there was a pandemic is because we didn't have Peaches to protect us. This is true. Peaches is the star of the Monty and Strong books. That's awesome, Julie. Just don't get in trouble, okay? I don't want you to get in trouble because you're watching the show. So try. If you're watching from work, do it very, very low key, so you don't get any repercussions from that. Yep. Oh, you're doing it when you're supposed to be working. Okay. Robert, good morning. And hope you're enjoying the rain in Tennessee. It's really bad. Oh, I hope if any of you are in Michigan or in thereabouts, be safe. It's really, I hear Michigan is underwater. There's like the dams broke and it's getting, so in the middle of a pandemic, just to make things worse, now people are having to flee their homes. So, my thoughts and prayers go out to the people in Michigan. If there's anyone here from Michigan, please be safe and be careful because it's pretty bad. It's out, Robert. Blood Betrayal's out. You can pick it up on Amazon right now. There's a link. Use the Reader Links link that's in the room. And it's 99 cents currently. And it'll be on KU. I put all my books on KU because I know a lot of people, if you're like me, you love getting books and they get expensive. So on KU, at least you pay one fee and you can get billions and billions of books. So in my best Carl Sagan voice. And that makes it easier to get all the books. Plus, it makes it accessible to everyone. Yeah, Chris, I'd like to, can we just have a do-over on 2020, like start December of 2021 and then reset 2020? Are you guys having a drought over in California, Julie? Because we could definitely send rain over there. But then you guys get mudslides and you don't want that. So yeah, I think it's a glitch, Dolly. I put up one post and it showed up everywhere. So it's very strange. So if you see the post for Blood Betrayal, just find the Reader Links link and it'll take you to the same page. It'll take you to the same Amazon page. And as I noted earlier in the group earlier this week, we have just passed 1,300 members in the mob. it seems like it's just such a large number. I know 1,300 people don't participate, but I'm guessing that out of the 1,300, I mean, I'm sure most of them just kind of hang out in the back or lurk, which is fine. It just seems like such a big number. It's very surprising to me. Joya says, I was reading slowly to shred the book. By chapter 5, I was reading at full speed and not aware of any errors. I completed it and had to go back to 5 to start shredding again. That is a sign, I gotta extend it, of how much you enjoyed it. Thank you, Joy. I'm glad that the story captivated you to that extent. I have a lot of people, especially the shredders, who say, I have a problem because I'm trying to shred and then I get into the story and I'm 3 or 4 chapters on and I forget, oh, I have to shred this, and they gotta go back. So that's a good story. That's a good indicator of a good story. Yeah. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think the purchases do help, but I put the books in KU because I want to help the readers. We're all readers first, and it could get pricey if you have 10 favorite authors, 20 favorite authors, and they're all putting out books on a regular basis. You need to have a job or a lot of disposable income just for your reading habit, and that's what happens. So it's good to have it on KU. I don't even know what it is now. I think it's 9 something, and you can access a lot of books. Yeah, you guys definitely. I mean, if I could get you a raise, for sure. So it helps, and a lot of us are on fixed incomes. I have a lot of readers who are on fixed incomes, and it would be wrong for me to expect them to spend so much on books when there's an alternative, which is KU, and KU's great. So it's a win-win. I make sure everybody gets the books, and you guys have it. You have it accessible to be able to get a lot of books from a lot of different authors. I never have an issue in the sense of having other authors in the mob and advertising for them and promoting them, because we're all readers first. So it's not an issue. I think I'd only have an issue if an author in the book tried to in the mob tried to start advertising the book, kind of like pushing it on people. Then I think I'd have an issue. So, but we always have our L3 list, and that's excellent. And we can always let people know about great books that we've read, and especially if they're on KU, that makes a big difference. Yeah, the 99-cent special, Chris says he loves the 99-cent special. The 99-cent special is something that I've committed to for the mob, because you're the mob, and you guys are the main reason that the books do so well. And I feel that you should have something special on the day of release. And so I think it's special. I should call it the mob special. And the 99 cents, it's just a way of me saying thank you for being amazing and being one of my readers. It's gonna go up to $2.99 by, I guess 6:37 when I go to Amazon and change it, and that'll be at 6 p.m. my time. So I'd rather you get it at 99 cents rather than $2.99 if you're going to buy it. Again, because I'm trying to be the same way, financially prudent for you guys, so you guys can just get it for 99 cents. And but I used to have it 99 cents for weekends and a week and things like that back in the days of Tomb Yards and Butterflies. But I've realized that also hurts sales. So now I offer it at 99 cents for just the mob for one day, and you guys get it. And then if you can't get it that way, then you can get it on KU, and it's still really affordable. You're very welcome, Laura. Laura says thank you. Thank you, Darren. I appreciate your review, and I appreciate that you purchased it and that you helped shred, which is awesome. Your notes were really good. I think that was you, right? I think you were one of the shredders. And it kind of blurs for me when I just do the shredding, the notes afterwards. But I believe you were there. Let's see. Malcolm says, talking of 99 cent special, it's usually 99. Is that pence here? But this time it's 82 pence. I don't know what that translates to in American currency. But it sounds really inexpensive, Malcolm. Yes, TJ, and I have to say the same thing. TJ says, I have found many great series by using KU, authors I would never have read otherwise. Right, because let's say you want to try a new author, they don't have that much of a following. You don't know who they are. Maybe they were recommended by someone, but you don't really know. KU makes it that you could try it out, and you could, try this author out. And if you like them, then you get everything. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate it. That I'm a sweetheart. I appreciate it. Yeah, Chris, I really do care about my readers. I care, like I'm a reader first. So in order for me to write, I think you have to, in order for anyone to really write, I think you have to be a reader first. And I know what it's like to be a reader. I remember walking into Barnes and Noble with Dolly many years ago, and I would say, I'm not gonna get anything. I'm just gonna get like 1 or 2 books, and end up coming out with bags of books. And that's the same thing. And then when we got our Kindle, it was the same thing. So then now we didn't have to have all the storage space. So Joy says, my husband bought me a Kindle to try and keep me from buying books. It's only part way work. I go back and purchase the physical. That's true. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I used to have a Kindle, and I would still get the actual book because I actually like having books, the actual physical book, which is why all my like long novels, like 50,000 words, 50K, are in print as well. So yeah. Darren says, I'm just worried if anything happens to Michiko. Michiko has what we call plot armor, so I think she'll be fine. Yes. Okay. So Malcolm says 99 cents is 82 pence just now. Strange that Amazon did that. They usually do 99 cents, 99 pence deals. Yeah. Right. Dolly says that was when we were sans the last 3. When we didn't have the last 3 little ones in the tribe, all that money went to books and Barnes and Noble. And once we had them, all that money went to diapers and food. Yeah. It's very true. So we could use that money for books. We would walk into Barnes & Noble and walk out with books. Then when we had the kids, we would go into Barnes & Noble and just hang out there. And then I could read the books in Barnes & Noble. And the kids we would spend the afternoon in Barnes & Noble, and the kids would love it. I don't think they remember that now. Or if they do, it's a very distant memory. But you could stay. The great thing about Barnes & Noble was that they had a kids section, at least the one that we went to. And you could stay there. And the kids could play and read books, and they kind of had toys. And things like that. And the kids would just enjoy the day there. And I could roam, but I wouldn't be able to buy any books because it was just getting crazy in terms of it was expensive. But it was a nice outing, Oh, there was talk of her making the ultimate sacrifice. I don't think she could make the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah, Chris, that's what I was doing. Michiko can't die. She's too important to the Monty Strong series. She's too much of a catalyst in there. That's like saying killing Peaches, Darren. That was tried, and it was a mistake. So, plus you never killed a dog, right? Chris says I would do that. Read the book in the store. Yeah, I would do that with the graphic novels, Chris, because they're all there. And graphic novels are short read, so I would read the graphic novels while I was in the store with the kids. So Malcolm says, it's not a case of go to the bookshop, browse for new books, authors, and come back to see if they're on KU. Now you do it in the bookstore. So you go to a bookstore, you see an author you like, and you have your Kindle with you or your phone, because now you can do it on your phone, and you can see if they have it on KU right inside the bookstore, and you just walk out with the book on your phone because you got it from KU. Julia says, my daughter loves Barnes and Noble. Yes, I have a soft spot for Barnes and Noble. Yeah, it's an awesome place, and I'm sad to see them go. I miss having. I met Dolly in a bookstore. It was a bookstore that had a Starbucks connected to it. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So, what do you guys have in the UK? Waterstones, right? Waterstones would be, I guess, the equivalent of Barnes and Noble. Yeah, Chris says we need a book addict group. I think that's called the Mob, Chris. Darren says, yeah, don't mess with the dog. Yeah, you can't mess. No, you can't mess with the dog. So, for sure, it's important. Yeah, and Peaches, he didn't start out that way, but he ended up being one of the main characters in the Monty Strong series. Stop doing that. And so, Peaches ended up being a central figure in the stories. It's incredible. That is the trifecta: book, coffee, and a woman. Yes, it was a perfect meeting, a perfect convergence. So Waterstones isn't the same, Malcolm. Okay, they don't let you hang out there. Is that what it is? I agree, TJ. TJ says any bookstore seems to drop a person's blood pressure and anxiety. Yeah, Chris, that backstory is gonna be reserved for another time. Laura, when I was growing up, all right, we still have the Strand in New York City, which is like one of the oldest bookstores. But when I was growing up, we had a few more used bookstores that I could just stay in there and roam. And we had a neighborhood bookstore that's long since gone. And I would go there and get books every week when I had my allowance. Yeah. Oh, Malcolm says, what do you mean one of the main? He is the main. Peaches is the main catalyst. Yes, Peaches is the main character. It should be just called the Peaches Detective Agency. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. There's not a secondhand bookstore around that used to be. That's what Mark says. Love secondhand bookstores. Yeah, we still have the Strand in New York. I don't know if it's still open. I have to check. It's on 14th, near 14th Street on Broadway. It's famous. It's this huge store that had several floors, and you could also get used college books there too. But I don't know if it's still around. I have to check. I like big bookstores. The thing is that sadly they've been put out of business. Amazon has taken most of the market share in that regards. And really what needs to happen now is that the bookstores need to be small. They need to be nimble, and they need to be able to move with the market. Amazon is just too big of an opponent to fight against. So unless you can sink billions into a company to kind of outdo Amazon, you're better off being a smaller bookstore, a local bookstore, and something that allows you to move and kind of host and have different authors. Yes, let's see. The Strand was still there in November. Dolly says that total meet cute, more riveting than Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks. Okay, I'm gonna agree with that one. Joy, if you're leaving, have a great holiday weekend. Is it a holiday somewhere? Am I missing a holiday somewhere? Is it a holiday where you are, Joy? Definitely, Chris. Yeah, well, the next time whenever you get to New York, we'll definitely share that story. Awesome. Mark says the Strand is still there, so I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. Linda says, when I visit my friend in London, we'd often go to the charity shops, and they usually had a used book section. Yes, most of them do. Even here, the secondhand clothing stores usually have a big section of books. It sounds like a plan. Yes. Dolly says you're replying to yourself. For sure. So I really, and I kind of grew up going into bookstores, and I would spend a lot of my money in bookstores. I think I've said this before. I love the library. My only issue with the library when I was growing up is that I had to return the books. And I didn't want to return the books. So I figured the next best thing was to own the books. And that started me just buying books when I was very young. And then, you end up with a huge library. The last time we moved, we had a warehouse space, a storage space that was full of boxes of books. So we made the move to digital, just to save space. And even now, our living room / library has 2 full walls full of bookcases. And the bookcases are doing double duty because they're books, and then they're books in front of the books, and they're books on the side. I mean, we need like another wall for the bookcases. So... and that's, just a testament to that fact that I love reading. And so does Dolly and the kids too. So, yes, definitely, Malcolm. When we have Peaches Con, we'll have to have a trip to the Strand as one of the oldest used bookstores in New York City. Maybe I'll have to include the Strand in one of the Monty and Strong stories without destroying it. Like maybe there's an obscure book that's located in the Strand, like I'll have the Strand have a special section, a special supernatural section that's unknown to everyone except mages and sorcerers and things like that. I have the map of the Nexus Point, Darren. Look. I'm looking at it right now. This is the map of the nexus points. So there is a map. The thing is including the image in the story, in the books. So we'll see, Darren. I have to find a way to upload the image into a book, into the beginning of the book. Probably just take a picture and add it. Malcolm says I stacked books too thick on. Yeah, we have the same thing. We have stacked too thick, and on top of the too thick, except maybe our Terry Pratchett shelf. I think he wrote so many books, it's all Terry. Same thing for Jim Butcher. But our Terry Pratchett shelf is just Terry. Just Sir Terry. Too thick, and then we have books in front of those too thicks, and on top. It's like books everywhere. So, a null zone within the strand. Yeah, I think, Chris, that's an idea to go with. Just because that means they can have access to the books without getting into any kind of difficulty. There won't be any fights in the strand. Any magical issues. Malcolm was about to say, no, we want it left standing. No. The books are everywhere. So yeah. So actually, I think Dolly's looking to donate some books. So we have done that before. We donate to the library. We donate to to charities. But yeah, because we have so many, I think it's time to kind of purge the library a bit, just to streamline it. And yeah, so that's the case with the books. I think if it weren't for my Kindle or for the Kindle, because I do a lot of reading on my phone now. If it weren't for that, the books, yeah, we'd be inundated. We'd be buried in books. We'd use books as furniture. We'd have so many books. For sure. Hey, I like this new format. It seems, let's see if we can move a little bit. Yeah, look at that. Cool, we can do things like that. Yeah, we'll make the strand a neutral ground, and then that way we can have move over a little bit so we can have mages meet there. Yes, yeah, we have a lot of. Oh yeah, that's right. We have a lot of the hardcover. So this is how bad we were with at least with Sir Terry. We wouldn't even wait for the paperbacks. Once it came out in hardcover, we'd get the hardcover, the big, ginormous books that cost like $20-something each, or yeah, back in those days. So yeah, Chris, it seems really cool. It seems clear, like even more. And I have a professional camera on the computer. Hello, Aaron. Welcome. But it seems much better on the phone. It's a Note 10, so I guess they have a high-end camera in there. But yeah. Oh, that's only probably because I moved it, Linda. I was shifting it around to see if I could move around with it. So just to check. Yeah, Laura, we did that too. We lived in another part of Queens, and I think we got rid of some books, but there were just too many. We had to put them in storage. Am I still less clear, Linda? Let me know. It should be a little settled down, calmer, and clearer. Yeah, I think the last hardback I remember getting, at least in the Sir Terry series, was Thud. I think it was Thud. Dolly can let me know, but I think Thud was the last hardback we got. The last, yeah, like hardcover book that I got. Period. All the other books after that I've purchased in print have been soft cover, paperback. Great, Lynn. I'm glad to hear I'm clear again. Yes. Yeah, I have all the Dark Tower series in hardcover because when I got it, that's how long ago they were coming out. I think later at the end, I think I might have gotten the paperback of the Dark Tower. I'm glad it's back to sharp now. I wonder if it's because I moved the phone or because I moved too soon and the camera couldn't keep up with me. I'll have to see. I'll have to test that. But as long as it's clear and you guys can hear me, that's the key. I don't mind doing it like this because then we can do it anywhere. So that allows us for some flexibility. And once we can travel, then we can have the mob meetings everywhere in the world. So you guys have any questions about Blood Betrayal? That I don't want to ruin it for the people who haven't read it. But maybe I'll see if I can answer Yes. Let me see if I can answer some of the questions. Mark says, when in doubt, blame Ziller. That's our go-to. If there's anything that seems a little out of sorts, we start looking at Jim. It's like, Jim? Ziller? What are you doing? Yes. Fantastic, Laura. I'm glad that I'm clear and you can see me. Awesome. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions about blood betrayal, let me know. Let's see. Yes, it ends on a cliffhanger, so don't murderize me. But writing Monty and Strong 11 in between, I hope is okay. Julie, go adult. I know you have to. I didn't kill Ken, Malcolm. Ken is in danger though, and you'll see if he gets out of it by book 3. Ken, he kind of has plot armor because he is kind of important, but he doesn't have as much plot armor as... Nice talking to you, Julie. He doesn't have as much plot armor as Michigo. Audrey wants to know, when will the third get done? When will you get the third one? Well, after I write MNS 11, which is Dark Glass, then I jump right into Blood Rule. So somewhere in June, near the end of June probably. Can you wait? It's near the end of June, hopefully. Because they're not long. They're not like 50,000 words. Diane says, do you expect to include more of Byako after the trilogy finishes? I'm really enjoying her brashness. Yeah, Byako's a lot of fun to write. I don't know if I'm... She's very specific to Michigo's world, but I think I'll have her make more appearances in the Monty and Strong world. I just have to keep a handle on the cast that comes into Monty and Strong so they're not overshadowed. And I'm also introducing another character in the next book. In the next book of Monty and Strong that has her own series, but she's like, this is a really cool character. Okay, I'm going to tell you now. You guys are here. So basically, there's another sect that polices all of the sects, and they're called the Black Orchids, right? And these are like the mage police. Like, think of it like internal affairs in the police force. These are the guys. This is the sect that investigates mages when things go wrong. And Monty has come up on their radar because he's using a lot of dark magic. So they send an agent to find out what's going on with Monty. And so she makes an appearance in the next book after Dark Glass, because things get really dicey in the book after. And she's going to find out what's going on with Monty and why is dark magic being used so much. So that's going to be... And then she has a spin-off series. So you'll see her first appearance will be in that book, and then she starts her own series because she has to investigate mages who are kind of sketchy. And she's kick-ass. And she has a sidekick that's a lot of fun. So I won't tell you any more, but just she'll make an appearance in the next Monty and Strong book, which is not until after Dark Glass. The next Gray and Coda book come out. The next Night Warden book comes out. Then Sepia, then the next Monty and Strong, then the end of Sepia, the series. So it's a busy year. And in addition, in there, you have the little things, the smaller stories like Blood Rule, which is the end of, those are the main big books. So there's a lot of stuff going on. You'll definitely have snippets because I always do that to you guys anyway, so... Yeah, that's going to be rough, investigating Monty. Yeah, it's hard. It's going to be tough because the way she has to do it, and Monty's not known to be the most cooperative mage, and he kind of wants to do what he wants to do. And so she's going to have a hard time. But she's tough too, so it's not going to be that much of an issue. And I'll have Byako make regular visits to... Maybe the Randy Rump or something. She can go by. She can drop by and harass Monty and Strong. And don't forget that I have to introduce Sid and Nina in some of the books because there's a designer series that's coming out with Nina and Sid Rat. And so Sid makes an appearance in this Monty and Strong book because he gave Simon the Keepsaker. that item is important. What's in there is very important. It just hasn't been opened yet. But once it's opened, it's something that's going to help Simon go to the next. I can't tell you anymore because then I'm going to ruin the story for you. Oh, Marcus, that's a really good. Mark says he'd love a series on Master Yacht, just like Chi. That was really good. I don't know. Master Yacht got really showcased in the War Mage. So I guess I could definitely do a mini series on him too. Maybe later on, for sure. He's a great character, Master Yacht. Some characters are like seasoning. You can't have too much of them all at once. But I was writing. I wanted to write a story, like a series on Michigo for the longest time, and I had to wait till the right time, and now was the right time. Let's see. Looking forward to the next Aftermath. The next Aftermath is called Hammered. And that's not scheduled until later on in the year. But that's definitely scheduled. Ursula's a great character. And her crew, that's going to be awesome. There's a lot of books that have to be written. I just have to make sure that I get them in the right order. And I can't neglect Monty and Strong because that's the main trunk of the tree. So Monty and Strong has to be constant. And then these other stories have to come out of that trunk. So, and also, I don't want to wait too long between Monty and Strong stories because what happens is you start to lose the thread, and I have to start reading the previous books just to remember because there's so many stories. Like when I write the next Sepia, I'm going to have to read Sepia 3 just to be able to pick up so I can continue Sepia 4 and 5. Or like Audrey says, I can clone myself and have my clone read, and then I can do the writing. Yes, that's another alternative, Audrey. I don't think we're quite there yet at cloning. If we could clone and share one brain, then yeah. Then we could be a hive mind. Then that might be able to do it. Definitely. So there's a lot of stuff. I have the whole year. Even the year set out. Don't forget about Division 13. I gotta do all Division 13. I gotta finish Division 13. That's a few more books. And this year is really dedicated to Michigo with the Rule of the Council, Division 13, Monty and Strong, Night Warden, and Sepia Blue before I get murderized for real. Sepia Blue has to be done. So, and that's this year. Next year we'll see what's left. There's a lot, but we'll see what's left. And then we'll plan it accordingly. But there's a lot that has to be written. Right, see, there you go, Mark. That's it. And I can collaborate with myself. Even better. So yeah, just to set the record straight, I'm not doing any more collaborations, guys. It was an amazing experience being able to do it with John, but there's so many things that I have to do, and the collaborations take away from the ton of books that I have to do. Yes, Malcolm, Ava James. I have not forgotten about her. She still has 2 more books in her series. So, like as I was saying, if I collaborate, it takes away. A collaboration is a tangent for me. It takes away from the multitude of books that I have to write. If I focus on a collaboration, I'm taking time away from the other stuff that I have to write. So, even if Stephen King came up or James Patterson said, "Come on, let's collaborate," I'd have to really think about it. And my name would have to be bigger than theirs on the cover. How's that? If they agreed to that, definitely. Which they would never do, so it's not an issue. I'd love to collaborate with, like, let's say, Jim Butcher. That would be fun. Or even Kevin Hearn when he was writing Atticus. That would have been fun to do. So we'll see. The good thing about being an author is that anything is possible. You do this long enough, and you get a good story, then yeah, people will kind of look for you. The Ghost of Sir Terry, now that would be ideal. Or even the Ghost of Tolkien. Sit down. Yeah, Patricia, my head is a scary place sometimes, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I need to share. Yes, TJ, So TJ says something that's really important and very profound. She says, the only reason you can write this much, this well, is because it is obvious you love what you're doing. Yes, I do. And That's the only reason. That really is the only reason. Because if it was a chore and if it was like a drudge, first of all, I think you guys would pick up on it. You'd be able to. It's my belief that when a writer no longer wants to write, you can see it in the writing. You can read it. So if I ever get to that point, and I doubt I ever will, because I do love writing, I think it'll become quickly apparent to my readers that, okay, Orlando was kind of phoning this one in. What's going on, you know? So as long as I love the writing, and this is something that I don't ever have to retire from, as long as I can see. Oh, Dolly, that's awesome. She says, your name is the biggest in our hearts, which is so true. Then I will keep writing. And I'll keep writing if you keep reading. That's really the key. As long as there are readers who like the stories that I write, I will keep writing them. And that's really what it comes down to. Someone asked me recently if I would write even if I wasn't getting paid, and I said, of course, because that's what I was doing before I was known as a writer. I was writing in Starbucks alone. I was the only one who read it was Dolly, but there was no book out. It was just me writing in obscurity. And so I was doing it all growing up. I would write stories, I'd write journals. So it's part of my DNA. Thank you, Patricia. Yeah, I do enjoy it. And then it's funny because there are times when I'm writing, and like I've always told you guys, I don't think I'm that funny. I don't think I'm humorous at all. I keep telling Dolly that, and she looks at me like, huh? But there are times when, like, let's say I have to do research for a book, and I have to read one of the older books, one of the previous books, and then I'll start reading the book, and I'll start going, wow, this is really good. Oh, I get lost in the story, and then I forget, oh, I wrote this. It's so weird because I'm reading this story, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm going, oh, wait, I know what happens next. I wrote this. It's the strangest, like, weird, surreal thing. But I'll get caught in a book that I wrote, and I'm reading it, and it's like, wow, this is great, man, this is fantastic. And then, it just happens. So I think if I leave the book long enough, I'll approach it with fresh eyes and read it. Like, I can read Two Mirrors and Butterflies, and before you know it, I'm like 5 chapters in because the story just moves so quick. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, I know what happens next. And yeah. Thank you, TJ. Yeah, I don't see, it's really weird. I think it's a matter of being inside looking out. I just write, like when I'm writing the characters and they're saying what they say, it's just, hello, Elaine, welcome. I just write what their voices are to me, which is why I find Monty and Simon and Peaches the easiest to write. I think because they were the first ones in this kind of new phase of my writing, they're the most comfortable for me to write and put them in situations, and I know exactly what they would say and how they would react and what they would do. And no, that was one of the little ones behind me, Chris. And so yeah, I would do that. Hello, Debbie, welcome. I'm waving back to Debbie. Hey, Debbie, good morning. So I'm very at ease writing Monty and Strong. The other characters, some of them are really easy, some of them will take a little bit of work. And I always challenge myself to do different things, which is why I write short stories, which I write novellas, which I did the collaboration. At some point, I think I'll try romance. That'll be fun. And horror. That'll also be fun. So we'll see. I like to challenge myself, but not at the expense of Monty and Strong and the main stories that I write. Those I have to always keep doing those because those are important, and they have ongoing stories. And yeah, so that's important. That's really important. But I also like to challenge myself as an author to kind of grow, because if you don't, I think that if you don't challenge yourself and write in different formats, for me, it's not so much writing in different genres, but writing in different formats, like writing a short story or writing in a novella or writing an epic novel. If you don't do that, I think you can grow stagnant. And then it's a lot of the same. You don't want to do that. Yeah, Dolly's at Costco right now. She's here on the call with us, but she's at Costco because they only let one person in, and I'm here with the little ones. So she's at Costco. And it's a line. Yeah, Chris, M&S is the core. I think everything's kind of, it's hard. Ava James is the closest, Ava James and Sepia is the closest that I got to M&S before M&S. Right? Hey, Steven, welcome. And once I got into M&S, everything it was weird. Everything kind of fell into place. Everything clicked. Everything gelled. And so I can't ever sacrifice that, because when I get back to Monty and Strong and I'm writing a Monty and Strong story, it's seamless for me. It's like from thought to actual writing to typing, it's really quick. I don't have to really think about it. It just happens. So it's really important to me to keep that going, you know? And from M&S, when you have all these other characters come in and things that they interact with, that's where all these other little tangent stories start to appear because of Monty and Strong and the destruction that they wreak and the characters that they meet or the places that they go to. All these things start happening, you know? So you wouldn't have an Uncle Dex without Monty and Strong. You wouldn't have a Nana without Monty and Strong. You wouldn't have Ursula. You wouldn't have any of these things. Everything is connected, like you say. So Monty and Strong is a very, very real example of that, having all these characters interconnected. And sometimes it feels like they're not really related, but you'll find out later on that, oh, that character from several books back, it's like in Blood Betrayal, where, if you haven't read, I'm going to give you a mini spoiler, where Honor shows up. Now, Honor doesn't show up in Monty and Strong, but Honor shows up in Wander, and Honor shows up in Division 13, and all those stories and all those worlds are connected. So now Honor shows up in Blood Betrayal, and so you have these connections that you wouldn't expect, and when you see this now, it's like, oh wait, Michigo knows Honor. How does that happen? How do you know? So it's like that you don't necessarily see in Monty and Strong, but it's alluded to. And that's what I was saying in this book, and if the author notes, being able to write these short stories or these novellas allows you to see some of the characters that you already know, but in a different light or from a different perspective. Excuse me. So that when Michigo goes to the Central Archive, her impression of that place is going to be different from Simon's impression or Ronan's impression or Gray's impression of that place. And so you get to see it through her eyes, and she sees it as a kind of a callback to her home in Japan. It has an Asian motif and the way things are designed, but she also realizes that the tables are arranged a certain way, a very feng shui thing, that the tables are arranged to disrupt the energy of the room. She picks up on that, but you don't see Gray saying that or Ronan, but she does, because it's a certain understanding that she has, a certain knowledge that she has. So she noticed that the arrangement, though it looks random, there's actually a purpose behind it. And like Audrey says, everyone has a different reality, or everyone has a different perspective on reality, right? Good morning, Robert. Welcome. So I hope to be able to do that through the books, and it's a challenge, but I like to. It's telling a good story, which the art makes great. I always say, I give them a good story, and they shred it and they make it a great story, because I am comma averse. I really am. And some punctuations just escape me. And sometimes this is that I'm writing so fast, I'll see the word in my head, but it won't get typed out. And so you'll see words that are missing. So wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. So that's what the art does. They get in there and they shred it. They take their time when they can, because sometimes they read fast too. And I've had shredders who, I'll put the book up to shred, and like an hour later, oh, I'm done. And these are big books. So some of them are really speed readers. They can really read fast. And so I try to convey that in a good story. I try to tell a good story and have it engaging, which is the key, and not have it be the same thing all the time. So I think that's what makes the series awesome. That these are characters and people that you want to hang out with. Maybe not in close proximity to Monty and Simon, because they have a habit of destroying everything. But if you can hang out with them without them going to destroy anything, that'd be great. So that's the key, I think, to write. Maybe I should do a writing video series, like not how to write so much, but ideas and what works and what doesn't work, things like that. I'll go speak to Neil Gaiman. He has a master class. I'll see if he lets me piggyback off of him and see if that helps. I want to thank you guys for being here today in our mobile version. I'm hoping that it's just as good as the other version. I didn't put up the notice in the room because I didn't know how I was going to come across, but I think we can go this way, doing the mobile version. I think it works because I can see the screen on Facebook, and then I can see it as it's live, so I can answer people. I can answer people. Hey, Steven. Yes, Laura. What sounds cool? So it's interesting. There's a little delay, so sometimes I see and sometimes I don't see what's happening. But yes, so we're coming to the end of the talk of the Mob TV live event. But we have 10 minutes after for questions or a question. So is there a question you guys want to ask regarding any of the books, writing? If I can answer, I certainly will. If it's going to spoil something, I'll try to answer it as best I can without spoiling the stories. You know? That's good, Mark. Mark says he shakes his fist at me because something I said triggered a character creation in your brain. And that's usually what happens. Audrey, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you for shredding. It worked well for you. Audrey says this worked well for me. Thanks for everything, Orlando, and thank you, Dolly. Thank you, Audrey, for being here and hanging out with us and hanging out with me for an hour or whatever time you can spare and hang out. It's awesome, and spend some time and share and just be part of this. It's fantastic. Mark, I hope you got that character creation. That's awesome. That's great. That's what happens. Sometimes I'm reading something or hearing something, and your brain is... The great thing about a writer brain is that it's always working, even when you don't think it is. You know, and I don't want to say a writer brain, but I want to say a creative brain, and that we all have a creative brain. And so it's always in the background doing something. And then when certain things come together and it makes a connection from things that seem unrelated, and then you have a character or you have a scene or you have a story premise. This is what happens in our brains. Good morning, Don. How are you? You have about 10 minutes left, so you made it just in time. I'm waving to Don. Hey, Don. Thank you for coming. So if you guys have any questions, this is the time to ask. Oh, Mark, ask your question about your writing process. You outline, then drill down and rough out your chapters. What happens? What do you do when the boogers refuse to cooperate? I never have an issue when they refuse to cooperate. Always. Because when I outline... I have my outline is a framework. It's not detail by detail. It's kind of like there's a disturbance. What's the main disturbance of the story? This. And then what's the next thing that happens? So it's very broad. So it has room to kind of grow, and I can go chase down ideas, and if it doesn't work, I come back because I have a roadmap. So it's just a matter of knowing your story really well, I think. Elaine has a question. How long ago was the supernatural war? Sometimes it feels like 50 years ago. Sometimes it feels like 10. Supernatural war was hundreds of years ago. So when they refer to it, the people who refer to it are very old usually. So you'll hear Monty refer to it. You'll hear Michigo refer to it. Roxanne will refer to it. But you won't hear people like under 100 refer to it. Let's see. Malcolm says, I'm struggling to get my writer's brain content. We'll discuss that in PMs. And I'll definitely give you some things you can do. TJ says, format challenge. Can you write a haiku? Yes, I can write a haiku. I'm very good at writing haikus. The last person who challenged me to a haiku challenge was Noah, and he lost. At least that's what I think. But yes, I write haikus. I actually have hundreds of haikus written that I'm going to put into a book. So yes, TJ, I can do it. I have done it for a long time. Dawn says, what secondary character has changed the most from what you originally thought? Peaches originally started as a secondary character, and he became one of the main characters because it used to be Monty and Strong, and now when I think about the stories, it's Monty, Strong, and Peaches. But he was initially supposed to be just a secondary character. So that's one. Uncle Dex, again, he was supposed to be a cameo, maybe appear once or twice, and he's become really essential to the stories. So he kind of, anytime Uncle Thanks is in a book, he steals the show. This is why you don't see him that often. So, the haiku book, I don't know, that's a passion project, TJ. Hello, Sharon. And so I'm not putting a lot of I kind of write haiku when the mood strikes me, but I'm getting up to 108 because 108 is an important number in haiku. And once I get to 108, and I think I'm like more than halfway there, I think I'm at 60, 70, then when I get to 108, I'll put out the book. And that doesn't require much editing because they're haiku. So, yeah. Mark wants to know, will we see Bangers and Mash again? Yeah, they have their own series coming up next year. So, yes, you will see them next year in their own series. And they'll make more cameo appearances because they are there to appear at the worst possible moment to screw things up for Monty and Strong. So that's their purpose. But they will have their own little cases that they're going to go on because they're trying to mimic Monty and Simon. And so they're going to bungle their way through cases. They'll solve the case, but it's going to be in the worst possible way. And of course, the fallout from any damage that Bangers and Mash creates will fall upon Monty and Simon. So that will be fun. So anything that they do in Rec, because that way it works really nice. Anyone from the UK find that Bangers and Mash remind them of the Chuckle? I don't know who the Chuckle brothers are, but I guess I'll have to look them up. So yeah, I just like Bangers and Mash because it's such a crazy name to call them Bangers and Mash because that's breakfast in the UK in some places, and I think it has a certain ring to it. I like the way it sounds. So it's a great, and it's tongue in cheek. I mean, already the characters are called Bangers and Mash. I mean, really, yeah, Shaggy and Scooby. There you go. It's like a Shaggy and Scooby, exactly. That makes a lot of sense, Malcolm. Any other questions, guys? You got 10 minutes, so let's use them. And it's really nice out today. It's a shame that we really can't go out and enjoy the day. But thank you guys for being here. This is pretty awesome. You guys are here. I always do these things. I think it's just going to be me talking to myself for an hour or two. So it's interesting to see the lag between the screens. TJ is watching. Mark is watching. I keep saying, giving these notices that you guys are watching. So, you're back to work. Wow. Is that good or is that bad, Mark? And do you have to take certain precautions? Audrey wants to know, will Dolly have a cameo appearance? Yes, she will. She's working herself up to it. But definitely. Dawn wants remember when I asked you a while back about tattoos on a certain character? Kind of, Dawn. Yeah, it seems familiar. Yes. It's my pleasure, Pat. Pat says, thank you for sharing your creative mind. Sharon says, it's never just you. We're always here for you. And I really, really do appreciate that, Sharon. And I know it's true. I'm never alone. So what are you referring to, Don, about the tattoos? Because Gray has tattoos on his body, and they're special tattoos. They're photoreactive. So can you elaborate, Don, on your tattoos? Question. I really do appreciate it, Sharon. I know it's not just me, but it's always great to see you guys. So Mark, in regards to his going back to work, says, yes, I have to take precautions and it's a mixed bag. While I welcome having the routine back, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't anxious about it. Yeah, because you deal with people, right? So please be safe, wear your mask, social distance when you can. Oh, you lost sound, Don? Has anyone else lost sound, or is it just Don? Let me know, because we're trying this new format out, and so I like to make sure there are no bugs, or like the FB version was buggy. So Mark, just make sure you keep people away from you. That's all, I think. Hi, Kathy. Great. Thank you for letting me know that you hear me. Awesome. Kathy, your name always reminds me of Tombstone. Always. All right, great. So it seems like everyone can see. It might be just Dawn. I'm sorry, Dawn. Oh man, Chris. Chris said we just had our first nursing home employee test positive. That's rough. So now that person has to be quarantined, and you got to do chasing because you got to make sure that they didn't get anyone else sick, especially in a nursing home, which is really high risk. Yeah, Mark, I don't think they're going to agree to you having a spear to keep people back. That might be a little extreme. Yeah, I remember your answer, Kathy, that you actually related to the real Ringo, so or that through your husband or something like that, if I recall. So that's pretty amazing. So every time I see the name Ringo, like your name Ringo, it reminds me of Tombstone, which is if you haven't seen Tombstone, geez, it is a fantastic Western that you need to see. It's one of the ways you'll understand parts of like I've used parts of Tombstone in the books where you hear things like "Say When" or "I'm Your Huckleberry" or things like that. That's all from Tombstone. Malcolm says, do you have plans for Simon to meet Callie again? Yes, in the current book, Simon has to go meet Callie. There you go. Sharon says, I'm still waiting for time to go back. I work in a school and there's a lot of contention about whether we should go back or not. That's going to be tough, Sharon, because schools are incubators right now. You can't have all those kids together. Chris wants to know, will we ever get the backstory of Simon's curse? That's in the short story, No God is Safe. Unless you mean more detail than that. I don't know. There might be. But that's really the backstory of Simon's curse. Is No God is Safe is the short story, where Simon and Monty actually meet, and where you see Simon get cursed. That's where his curse starts. Oh, you mean Ringo Starr, Mark? I don't know. No. When I see Kathy Ringo, like, I'm sorry, Kathy, to make you the subject of this, I immediately go to Tombstone. I immediately think of that. Oh, wow, that's amazing, Pat. Yeah, see, I can't do it now, but visiting all those places would be awesome. Visiting all the historic Western places would be fantastic. Not going to happen for a long time, I think, but that's pretty amazing. He has a good story too, Wild Bill Hickok. So yeah, I think I answered your question, Malcolm, about Callie. Yeah, Callie appears in this book. She hasn't appeared in any Monty and Strong book except for No God is Safe, which is the short story. And she will definitely appear in this story because there's an issue with the curse that's affecting Simon and affecting those around him. So I can't say any more without spoiling the story. But the curse is doing some crazy things. It's creating certain things around Simon that need to get dealt with. And there are other people involved, other entities. I think so, Mark. I kind of, I do like country music, even though I'm not a crazy fan of it, but I like listening to it. I can appreciate it. I like the outdoors, So Dawn, so what's your answer? Ask the question again about the tattoos, because I didn't get the whole question. Wow, Pat, that is awesome. You don't see that very often because they usually put their nests very high up. So for you guys have it that low is amazing. Yeah, Sharon, I grew up with those. I grew up watching cowboy movies, and yeah, so it's part of, and I grew up with the Lone Ranger and things like that. I'm that old. Yeah. So I think a lot of it is, it's part of that mystique, that aura of that. All right, guys, you have about 2 minutes. Dawn, ask your question. I'm waiting for you to ask your question. Go, Dawn. Are they going to come into the storyline? Yes, they're going to be in the next book for Night Warden, which is called Nocturne Melody. Gray's tattoos start getting explored because he's going to deal with some issues with Coda. So yes, there's going to be a little bit more detail about the tattoos that Gray has. He's the only one of any of the characters in the Monty and Strong world that has tattoos, and these are photoreactive tattoos, and there's a reason why. And so, yeah, they're going to be expressed and they're going to be explored a bit more in the next Night Warden book. Also, Gray's a very interesting character. He's very different from any of the other characters in the Monty and Strong world. He's the one that's the rebel. He doesn't conform. And he's the one that's dying, in a sense, so he doesn't really care. And so no one can really tell him what to do. But you're going to see him in book 3 of Blood Rule. He factors it really heavily in that story. So that's going to be a lot of fun, because Gray is great to write. Which means, by default, you'll see some of Coda and you'll see some of Frank in Blood Rule. Awesome, Barbara. Thank you for getting Blood Ascension and Blood Betrayal. So you'll have a lot of fun with Blood Betrayal. But don't murderlize me because of the end. Yeah, I like writing Gray, but I've always said to write Gray, I have to get into a different headspace than Monty and Strong, because Gray's a very different character mentally for me. He's just as easy to write as Monty and Strong in a way, but he's so different in his way of being and thinking that I have to get into a different space for it. All right, guys. It's 10 minutes after 12, and so I don't want to make this any longer. I do, actually, but if you leave it up to me... Yeah, but Kwan's tattoos are different from Gray's tattoos, and her tattoos are from her sect, so it's different. But her tattoos are more magical, Darren. So I'll explain those too, because she makes an appearance later on. But her tattoos, like her apprentice's tattoos, are very similar. Okay, last question. Will we get the Simon and Frank meeting soon? Not for a few books, because there's going to be some serious major things that are happening. And for that to happen, Simon and Monty or Simon and Gray have to meet so that Frank could meet, or maybe Peaches and Frank are meeting, and then Simon comes into that meeting, and then they have a conversation. So, but yeah, it'll happen eventually, because, Simon has a bone to pick with Frank. So I want to thank you all for being here and spending an hour with me and hanging out and talking and chatting and asking questions. I think, like I've always said, if we could do this all day, I think it would be ideal. It would be so much fun. And definitely we have to have a Peaches Con so we can just hang out for a few days together. That would be awesome. So I'm going to go. Maybe do something with my beard that's itching my face to death. And thank you for reading. When you get your books, it's 99 cents today, Blood Betrayal. At 6 p.m. my time, it goes up to $2.99, so please don't wait until after that, okay? All right, guys, take care. Have a great weekend, and be excellent.